Yeah, we should be live. Should be coming up on.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then make sure you have the fair use declarations and everything too. Did you say? I'm sorry. Did you say we should start tagging people?
Yeah, I've already tagged you.
Okay, cool. Let me go in here and do that right quick. Okay, here we go. All right, let me tag my guys. Uh, okay, we ready to roll.
Right.
There we go.
Roll this down.
There we go. Anything else after this is denial. Uh, right. Oh, I have one more clip that I'm going to pull up too while we're doing this. Hang on 1 second. 1 second. But you
That's all
keep
right.
going. Introduction. I'm pull it up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, greetings, Facebook, YouTube. Um, Me and brother Salam, we jumped on here because we can no longer stand Isaiah Thomas's revisionism, rewriting history, and bitterness. We just can't stand it. Too much disrespect. So we just got to address it. And I want to say up front, Magic Johnson is my favorite point guard of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaiah's my second favorite of all time.
Absolutely.
I got him right behind
Absolutely.
Magic. So this is not a haterade on Isaiah.
Mm-mm.
I love Zeke the player, his skill set, all that. But I think that he's allowing his hatred to rewrite history. Just He's not as he isn't going as bad. He hasn't gone as far as Scotty. I don't know because Scotty kind of chilled. I think Scotty is kind of chilling out right now. He's kind of backtracking some a little bit, but um, but this latest dust up, yeah, he went too far with this one. So um, again, I'm Brother Jay. This is Salam. We may have a couple other guys join us, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna start with what sparked the outrage, or shall I say, what sparked the controversy. So let me get this lined up here, and we'll go ahead and share the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and let's see, get this popping here. All right, and you guys, let me know if y'all can hear this.
Go ahead. Fair
So,
you.
No, I'm fascinated by
Yeah,
sort of
fair
the
use.
comparisons.
OG, there's always a debate about the golden era of basketball. Some think it's right now. Others think it was more your era, mid 80s, early 90s. What's your take on that?
Our era is considered to be the golden era. This is what I don't understand about your era, right? You guys are playing with arguably the greatest player to ever play. And excuse me when I say this, but y'all treat him like he ain't nothing. And I'm talking
Wow.
right? Y'all act like, well, y'all instead of pubbing y'all era up, y'all go back and say our era was the greatest. Oh, Michael Jordan was the greatest. Nobody could ever be greater than Michael Jordan, right? Okay, and then you turn around, but in your era, LeBron James sitting there, he holding every single basketball record. I mean, every single one of them. And you're looking at a Kevin Durant and you're looking at a Steph Curry, but then when y'all say who the greatest, y'all talk about the guy that gave you some shoes and
Yep.
gave you some warm-ups.
Fair.
By the way, on this show, for the record,
Sure.
me,
I'm
Boogie,
just
and Lou
being
will all
real.
agree that LeBron's the
No,
greatest.
I'm an MJ person, but Isaiah, I'm 50 years old. Like that's what made me love basketball.
All right, that's enough. Let me stop
Now,
sharing that.
do you have his follow up, that post that I shared this morning? What
Oh no, no, he got another follow up from this one.
the one that you responded to this morning?
Okay.
Not the video, but in writing, where he details he did a
Oh yeah,
basic.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, because I'm
Uh,
touching. So my editorial rebuke is going to be touching on that too.
oh yeah, you want me to pull that up?
Yeah. Pull that up, please. I want the fans to see that.
Okay, give me 1 second. I gotta log back into that thing. But go ahead and introduce yourself while I work on pulling it up.
Yeah, I am Salam Thompson. For those of you who know me closely, you know my government name, but I'm not gonna say it right here. So, I'm from Chicago. I live in the Los Angeles area now. So as you can see, I'm still repping, still basking in the glory of yesterday. So that's what that is. Um, I've been a lifelong, Chicago sports fan. Um, Bulls, Bears, Cubs, and hold on, Buffalo scored a touchdown again when a minute left. But I digress. But I am all for fairness, but we need to set the record straight. And a lot of times I've heard several interviews from Isiah, everything from the pivot, everything from what else he been on? Open Court, with Ernie Johnson and all them. So we've seen them on First Take. We've seen them, Molly and Stephen A. like talk to him the day after The Last Dance aired, right? So we've seen all him in all these spaces. And Anton Daniels, the brother from Detroit, good brother up there. I watched the interview that Isiah did with him about 3 weeks ago, maybe or so. Yeah, so I've seen it from all areas, but it's a lot of context being left it out, and I'll leave it at that before, if Jay wants to say something before I launch into my editorial.
No, go ahead. Well, I got think I got your. Give me a second. I'm pulling it up here. I got your.
Pull that up first before I go into the editorial.
Yeah, let me do that.
And I have no problem. Whoever know Isaiah personally, get this to him too. You know, I mean, like, it's not against him. There's no shade. It's all facts, you know, and whatnot.
Hey, I mean, I would be blessed if Zeke wanted to join us.
Man, that I know that's far fetched, but you know, if they know,
Right.
but
Right.
there are people 6 degrees of separation. I'm sure there are people who know people
Yeah.
can get to him. But a side note is his wife is in some distant way related to my wife.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can see this or do I need to blow it up a little bit?
Blow that up some.
Okay, give me a second here.
Maybe the people need to see that what was said.
Is that better?
A little bit more, you know, brother, man. I'm old now. I got.
All right.
Are you able to read off what he said?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely am.
Read what he said, then I read my editorial afterwards. Go ahead.
All right. So Zeke said, at FanDuel, after our discussion, I did some research. I asked some questions about the golden era of basketball in the 80s, and ChatGPT said, based on international selection, college championships, NBA championships, finals MVPs, and head-to-head playoff results against MVP-level opponents, Isaiah Thomas ranks as a top 3 player of the 80s and had none of the advantages the others had. He stands alone as a small guard of the golden age. ChatGPT historical analysis. Oh, by the way, Derek Rose chimed in. He agrees with Isaiah's assessment of himself, by the way.
But I understand why, because they both
Yeah.
point guards from
Right.
Chicago. So
Right.
Derrick Rose, he's a young brother. He's from my neighborhood. So Derrick Rose is exempt from the ether that I got.
Right. He said the 80s are called the golden age of basketball. So here is the decade judged by selection, championships, head-to-head results, and difficulty. Isaiah Thomas stands alone. Start of the decade, he was chosen Pan American Games gold medalist 1979, youngest player on Team USA, selected to the 1980 U.S. Olympic team.
Which was
Before
boycotted, by the way, but go ahead.
before age 20, he was already the U.S. national point guard. College, he won it all. Okay, NCAA champion, 1981 with the Hoosiers. Final Four most outstanding player, national title, best player, no doubt.
Hold on,
Excuse me, no
Jay.
debate.
He won it all, like as if like he wrote a gospel song, like he paid it all or something. But go
Right.
ahead.
I mean, he won a national championship. Okay, great. I mean, I think that's what you're supposed to say. I don't know
Yeah.
what he won it all means, but I mean, did he win most valuable player and this and that and all the accolades for one player? So
You must have read my editorial, man. I got it. Watch. I'm gonna lay it out beautifully. Go ahead.
NBA, he beat the best in his era, two-time NBA champion, 89 and 90. Yes, sir, you sure did. After they beat you up first, but you finally broke through and beat Bird and beat Magic.
I'm gonna tap into that too. Go ahead.
1990 NBA Finals MVP, NBA playoff record versus the era's icons favored him. It says, wait a minute, NBA playoff record versus the era's
Icon.
icons
Favors.
favors him. Okay.
Not by much, but continue.
He beat Bird and ended Boston's dynasty.
I'm gonna touch on all that. Keep
Yeah,
going.
I think injuries ended Boston's dynasty, but we'll get back to that.
Keep going.
He beat MJ 3 straight playoff years. He beat Magic for championships. He beat Magic one time. He won more playoff series and games against Bird, Magic, and Jordan than they won against him in the 80s. Really?
Oh, you see, I'm doing this my Birdman rub.
Yeah. Now my my brain is working. I'm like, wait a minute. I remember Bird and Magic beating you up, man. What are you talking about? Because
I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Let me keep going because the Celtics was beating them up, and then when he finally broke through, Magic beat him up. So let me keep going.
Yeah,
Uh,
I get it.
Context that cannot be ignored. Isaiah, 0 top 50 teammates. Bird and
Mhm.
Magic, multiple top 50 teammates. Jordan, 0 championships in the 80s. Isaiah, 2 championships plus finals MVP. So now he doesn't have any top 50 teammates. Okay. If the 80s are the golden age, then based on international selection, NCAA championship plus MOP, um, NBA championships, finals MVP, head-to-head playoff superiority, degree of difficulty. Isaiah Thomas is a top 3 player of the decade and the second most accomplished point guard of the era. Now that I agree with.
Yeah.
This is not a narrative. This is the record, results, and context. If someone disagrees, ask one question: Who beat Bird, Magic, and Jordan more when it mattered? There is only one answer. Okay.
Here you go to Birdman hand rub. So first, if you go back up to where he said he won 2 championships, the second championship he won in 1990. So he only won 1 championship. That's for starters. But I'm gonna read my editorial exactly as I wrote it.
Okay.
Isaiah, I love you. Okay. I'm probably one of the few Bulls fans that'll put your broke ankle, for all intents and purposes, performance ahead of Mike's flu game in the finals, in the '88 finals. I'm one of the few that does that. But in fairness, I have to point out a few things for correct framing. You did not end Boston's dynasty necessarily. You ended their 4-year reign as Eastern Conference champions. That's it. Further, in the closeout game of Game 6 at the Silverdome, you finished with 9 points and 9 assists. What story did that tell about the composition of your team? Your very best was not a requirement in unseating Larry Bird for the Eastern Conference Championship. Neither you or Joe D scored double figures in that closeout game.
Quick question before you go further.
Uh-huh.
Bird steals the ball. Bird steals the ball. He passes it. He passes it. DJ. Who threw that pass?
Isaiah did, but that was a year prior, though, right? In '87, in fairness. Yeah, so, but '88, Game 6, the closeout game at Old Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Neither Isaiah or Joe D scored in double figures in that closeout game. This is a Hall of Fame backcourt, and their best wasn't required. And both of them shot under 50% from the field. But you had company, Isaiah. Bird shot 4 for 17 in that closeout game. Danny Ainge shot 1 for 11 in that closeout game. He was battling injuries, but that's beside the point. So, who was the causation force behind you unseating Boston in 1988? I'll tell you. AD, remember him? He had 22 points. And 2 guys off your bench who outscored Boston's entire bench. So respectfully, sir, you did not stand alone. With each passing year that you beat Michael's Bulls, they were improving every single year. In 1988, it was their first 50-win season. More on that part later. Jordan's first MVP. Your squad that dispatched him had literally 5 to 6 guys in double figures every single game. You know full well you did not do the heavy lifting by yourself like Jordan did in Chicago. In 1989, your 63-19 Pistons, who went 6-0 in the regular season against the Chicago Bulls, in the postseason, your record was what? 15-2. You beat a Celtic team easily, minus Larry Bird, who only played 6 games that season due to rupturing both Achilles. Remember that? Your only 2 postseason losses in 1989 came at the hands of Michael's 47 and 35 Bulls, whose second leading scorer that postseason was not Scottie Pippen. It was Sam Vincent. Look at the ask here.
Who?
You're sitting
Who?
here.
Sam who?
I said, look at that. Sam Vincent, former backup point guard to the Boston Celtics. Brother Jay Vincent played in the league too. And so they all Detroit products. So when they played at St. Cecilia and all that stuff in the summertime, they all got it in up there. But anyway, Isiah, look at the ask here. You're sitting here gloating that your plus 60 win team beat a sub 50 win team. Yet that 47 win Bulls team that beat you in game 1 and in game 3, never surrendering the series lead to you until game 5 of that series. It was after game 3, according to the Bad Boys documentary, where you went on a walk to Lake Michigan and was on the phone with Joe D, in your words, for hours, talking about 23 in red. Remember that line from the Bad Boys documentary? Further, about game 3 of that 1989 series, didn't Michael Jordan take on a defensive assignment from the tip against you and held you to 5 points on 2 of 8 shooting? Your backcourt mate finished with 12, with 7 of those coming from the charity stripe. Mark Aguirre, who I feel should be in the Hall of Fame, and Benny Johnson, who I also should get a call, but since Michael Cooper got in as a 6th man, Mark Aguirre had 25 points that game 3. Benny Johnson had 19 that game 3 off the bench, right? The person guarding you, Isiah, Jordan, yeah, he finished with 46 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, 5 steals, including a game winner over arguably the top 2 greatest individual defenders in league history. That's Dennis Rodman. Michael's future Hall of Fame teammate, who Jordan's detractors say he had, as if Jordan inherited the futuristic 1992 to 1998 version, he finished with 2 for 10, 7 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and 5 personal fouls. Michael, on the other hand, while guarding you primarily in game 3, only had 2 personal fouls. I have receipts for all of this. Point out, and you wonder why damn near 30 years after he played for the Bulls, his shoes and his sweatsuits will continue to sell ad infinitum. I heard you in interviews talk about how beat up you were in 1991 as the reason why the Bulls swept you guys, but you conveniently leave out how beat up the Lakers were in 1989 with Magic and Byron hurt. Byron wasn't no slouch. He was his team's leading scorer in 1988 when they beat you guys. And how Kareem was on his last leg at the ripe old age of 42 years old. Yet you and fans from the 313 continue to push this lie that the Pistons got old. In the Bad Boys documentary, when talking about the sweep of the Lakers in the 1989 finals, Bill Lambier's own words said that said of the Lakers that they were old and we felt we could push them. In 2 years, all of a sudden, y'all are aging in dog years. Stop it. So, while you had 0 top 50 teammates, you did have 4 future Hall of Famers on your 1988 squad. And you had 2 guys in the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals who in the first 3 games averaged at or around 20 points a game off the bench. Big Mark Aguirre averaged 19. Benny Johnson averaged 25. I purposely omitted game 4 scoring from the composite average, but for the sake of disclosure, they both had 9 points in game 4. And game 4, as you know, was a rout and an ensuing walk-off. This was against a Bulls team that year who had only 3 guys averaging double figures throughout the entire roster. That Bulls squad got clobbered in the first meeting with you guys in Auburn Hills by 21 points. Remember that, Isaiah? That Bulls team was the only team in league history to start out 0-3 and reign as champions by season's end. Your starting center you played with the entire time in Detroit, who is one of the finalists for this year's Hall of Fame class in 2026, has more All-Star appearances on his person, 4, than every single starting center that Michael Jordan has played with his entire career combined. Under the section that Jay just read earlier, defensible conclusion, you offered in supposition that if the 1980s was the NBA's golden age, you listed several criteria. You listed international selection, NCAA championship, plus most outstanding player, NBA championships, finals MVP, head-to-head playoff superiority, and degree of difficulty. What was missing from your criteria is regular season MVPs, all NBA selections, and individual awards won. Why is it that you conveniently omitted those KPIs from your criteria? KPIs, key performance indicators, for those who are not in business speak. Let's look at the evidence. In your first year, Isiah, you finished 17th in MVP voting. Your highest voting finish throughout your entire career in MVP voting was 5th in 1984, 5 years before you won your first championship. Let us look at your peers who you are compared to. Magic in his rookie season did not even crack the top 9 in MVP voting at all. Larry Joe in his rookie season finished 4th in MVP voting. Michael in his rookie season finished 6th. Again, you were ranked 17th. While you were voted an all-star starter your rookie year, you did not make an all-NBA team your rookie season. The only year Michael did not rank in MVP voting was the year he broke his foot. You, despite winning your second all-star MVP, finished 9th that year in 1986. And Michael's first MVP season in 1988, John Stockton finished with more votes than you, Isiah, and was in the top 10 in MVP voting. You were 12th. Behind Jordan was Bird, then Magic. You, sir, were 12th. Bird had the greatest win turnaround in history with a 33-game improvement upon his arrival in Boston. Magic took his team from a good team to an elite team, going from 47 wins to 60 wins. These two players have had great karma in terms of being drafted to organizations who've been to the mountaintop already, and they, as individuals, not being tasked to deliver an organization's first title like you and Jordan did. Magic and Bird never had to start from scratch on their pathway to championship glory. That said, it took you, Isiah, until 1987, your 6th season, to achieve a 50-win total. Michael, in his 3rd year, or excuse me, his 4th year, because we look at his 3rd full year, but he missed a year because of the broken foot. So all intents and purposes, his 3rd full year playing and having played for just as many coaches, because he played for Kevin Lockery his rookie year, then he played for Stan Albeck his 2nd year when he came back from the broken foot. They fired Stan Albeck, then they hired Doug Collins. So in Mike's first 3 years, he played for 3 head coaches. All right. And he achieved the Bulls franchise's first 50-win season and his first MVP in that 3rd full year. In your first championship season, you finished not only behind John Stockton, again, who finished 7th in MVP voting, You finished tied with your backcourt teammate, Joe D, for 17th in MVP voting. This is a year that your team went to the mountaintop and won a championship. But you saying that you were the head guy, you were the top 3 in the decade according to Chat GBT, but yet the data says that in your first championship season, you finished tied for 17th in MVP voting. That is the same exact ranking in votes as your rookie season. You talk about statistical records being broken. There are legacy awards such as MVP named after Mr. Jordan and not you. That concludes my editorial. I am Salam Thompson. I welcome your feedback.
Excellent. Also, some more stats. This narrative that the Pistons were old in 1991.
I got video proof of what I said. So we'll keep going, Jack. Go ahead.
Yeah. The narrative that Isiah was or his team was quote unquote old in 1991. This after winning a championship in 1990. Going 7 games against the Bulls. The Bulls pushed them to 7 games.
Right.
Of course, the Pistons had home court advantage, so that mattered. But in 1991, Isiah Thomas was 29 years old.
Yes.
Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman, John Sally, all those guys were younger than Isiah. So high on God's green earth with that team old. Now you want to talk about Bill Laimbeer or Edwards. I forgot his first name. They call him James Edwards. Yeah. Well, yeah, those were seasoned centers, so that you could put them in the age category, but they were not the main producers of offense for their team.
Right.
Nor were they the main drivers of defense. Your main drivers of offense were Dumars, Zeke. You got your boys coming off the microwave, coming off the bench.
Yep.
So I want to know, how was this team all of a sudden old after 1 year?
Right.
We've been hearing this narrative for how long now, and I'm sick. I'm tired of hearing it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can look at the Bulls. The Bulls had old players too. Bill Cartwright was old. You know what I'm saying? You go to look at their backup, their centers were old. So they had some veterans that were, over 30 and whatnot as well. That doesn't matter. The question is, did the Pistons lose to the Bulls and got swept, by the way?
And resounding back.
Did the Pistons lose to the Bulls because they got old? Because remember, the Pistons made it back to the Eastern Conference Finals, so they were old enough to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals,
right?
To face the Bulls. Then they got swept by the Bulls. So were they too old to beat the Bulls, or did the Bulls mature enough to finally get over the hump? Because remember, the year before, the Bulls pushed them to Game 7. Were they old?
Right.
Were they old in 1990?
That's what I'm saying. So, like they in 1991, they made it back to the Eastern Conference Finals as defending NBA champions. So that's not being old. Just like how they say, well, Jordan, Magic got old when they beat him in the finals. Magic in 1991 was ranked 2nd in MVP voting to Michael.
Magic
the prior 2 years. Yeah. Actually, Magic won 3 of the last 4 MVPs prior to 1991. So that's not necessarily over the hill.
Magic was 30.
Over the hill is George Gervin in a Bulls uniform.
Right.
That's over the hill.
That's over
Magic
the hill.
wasn't that.
Yeah. Magic was 32 years old when the Bulls beat them.
Yeah. And had a triple-double in his last game before he retired.
Yeah.
In Game 5. Next year after James did. But Byron was hurt in Game 5 and Game 5 only. Now a lot of people say, Worthy didn't get hurt. Worthy didn't leave the game with injury until Game 4 after the 3rd quarter. But the game was already out of hand, and he logged 31 minutes of game time in that. So you figure.
So Byron
Byron Scott.
Yeah, he was younger than Magic though. right?
Yeah, he's young. Of
Yeah,
course, he's
yeah.
younger.
Who else? Who else on that team? Edrin. I mean, not Edrin.
Sam Perkins was on that team. Vlade Divac, another Hall of
All them
Famer,
guys was
featured
younger than
on
Magic.
Eldon
E-
Campbell, rest in peace. You know,
yeah,
he was there, but Eldon Campbell
e-
like balled out in Game 5. A lot of
even
people
Worthy,
remember that,
even
but
Worthy was younger than Magic.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
And Worthy, these people act like Worthy was a slouch. I mean, he got his numbers in games 1 and 2. You know,
yeah, well, he didn't get hurt. He got, I think it was game 3. He got injured during game 3.
well, actually, he got injured. He first got injured in Game 2 of the Portland series, the prior round, and Portland swept the Chicago Bulls in the season series that year. So, like, there was no really indicator that said the Bulls were going to be champions, really, for considering how Portland beat them handily during the regular season. So the Lakers actually did the Bulls a favor, right? So Worthy got hurt in Game 2 of that series. You know, and his ankle ain't been right since then. But the playoffs, shit happens. You know, Michael had a bum toe. He stayed having tendonitis in his knee. That's why he rocked his knee brace on his calf like he did. That's just what it was. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I was just speaking to age. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if Magic's team was young, the 90% of Magic's teammates were younger than him, then they were not old. That's my whole point.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think AC Green was still there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
AC Green and I think Michael Thompson was too. So.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Zeke, the bulk of Zeke's teammates were younger than him. The bulk of Magic's teammates were younger than him. So, you know, that kind of kills that noise. But this is what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
because we know that, you know, uh, we know about the hubbub with Zeke and MJ going back to the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of, you know, put a sour taste in MJ's mouth. But I think the final nail on the coffin for MJ was when the Pistons walked off on the floor and just didn't even acknowledge the Bulls. You know, like, hey man, you know, where's the sportsmanship?
Right.
It was kind of like, you know, we've been knocking y'all out the playoffs, and we can't even, you know, say, hey, you know, you won first. Now I won't put that on all Pistons, because some of them did stick around. Dumars, John Sally, a few of them did, you know, stick around. But it was just sad to me. I
I wish
was
I could
watching
see
it
a
live.
screen share.
Huh? No, I'm
Let me
saying, to me, I was watching it live, and it was sad to see uh, Isaiah leading his team off the floor like that, man. It was just, you know, but it's water under the bridge now, I guess, you know.
It is. Watch this, Jay. But this is context. So this is what they don't
Go ahead.
talk about. See, this is the walk off of 1991, right? Watch Chuck Daly at the. I expanded it just so you can see. Watch Chuck Daly. So they talking. Fair use, by the way. There's a score. Now watch what happens. Watch closely. Look, he's telling them no. He's telling them don't do it, right? He's Chuck Daly was telling him don't do this, because I don't know if you remember a show called Beyond the Glory. Chuck Daly, in that interview, he said, I warned Isaiah that don't do something that you're gonna regret. That was Chuck Daly waving him off on a low, straight, trying to keep it cool, saying, no, don't do this. And then further, I'm gonna cue it up further, where it actually shows Chuck Daly shaking Jordan's hand. People don't talk about that. I'm gonna show. We gonna get all that shit out the way. Go ahead, keep talking. I'm gonna cue it up.
No, I was gonna say let it play, because I was looking for another video myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here, let me expand it then,
yeah.
because
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
show. Watch where Chuck Daly even reaches across. Hold on, let me turn this around. So here they go. There's Mike. There's Sally. I think I missed it, but it was in there where Chuck Daly actually reached over and shook Mike's hand as they walked out. It might have caught it on the live feed, but I was looking at it through the screen and not through the actual screen on here on the live itself. Yeah, but Chuck, as he was walking out, he reached over and shook Mike's hand and hugged him. They ended up playing 18 holes of golf with him like the next year. Let's see what else I have. You pulling up a video? Oh, real quick. People don't.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm pulling up a very important video. Keep doing what you're doing.
There's the stat line right there. This is in the locker room, in Detroit locker room, after they knocked out Boston. Look at that, 9 points and 9 assists. Isaiah, your very best was not required to unseat Boston. 9 points and 9 assists. Why are you doing that? Here's some more.
All right, I found.
Real quick, keep going. I'm gonna show this real briefly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jump ball, game 3 in 1989. Isiah gets the ball. Look who's stepping up. That's Michael guarding Isiah. And look at the cross match. Isiah said, fuck that, I ain't guarding Mike. Joe, you take him. Here's Isiah again. So just a look, Mike, the head hunting. Right there. Look at that. At Fair East, by the way. We're gonna watch one more possession because, like, people say, well, oh, that's just a snapshot. Mike had the defensive assignment of guarding Isiah. And here's Joe Dumars in the cross match. Isiah getting a break guarding Craig. I'm skipping ahead to the defensive line. Here comes Isiah. That's a cross matching transition. Skip ahead. Look who's guarding Isiah. Jordan again. Joe Dumars guarding Mike. Where you at, Isiah? I thought you dominated. Double dribble. They're about to inbound the ball. They're bringing it up. Look who's shadowing. Go to the next defensive possession. They're going to take you out of your initial. One more defensive possession. Then I'm going to throw the floor back to you. Second basket of the game. Mike's not even on Joe Dumars. Look, he's way over here. I think you get my point.
I got my videos queued up. So
okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna play the first one. This is This is 1991. Isaiah Thomas, and what you was talking about, Coach Daly. Hanging on.
Right here on
Go ahead.
NBC, Game 5 of
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me share. I'm tripping.
No problem. I'm putting on the Eagles right quick. So Buffalo did pull off the upset like I figured they would.
Okay, here we go. Let me know if you don't hear this.
right here on NBC, Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. James Worthy and the Lakers, Magic Man, and the whole crew going up against Clyde the Glide Drexler.
Now, this is what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Half of the
See him wave them off?
Yep.
tomorrow, the NBA playoffs continue right here on NBC, Game 5 of the.
If you remember John Sally's interview on Vlad TV, John Sally purposely told Chuck, I'm checking back in because some shit's about to go down I don't want to be a part of. Remember that line?
Yep.
John Sally checked in, and Chuck was like, come on, Sally, you can't get no more points than you have. So complete evidence. This corroborates what John Sally said.
Yep. John's like, take the peer pressure off of me.
Yeah, he put me back in the game. There's that there walking off. Let's see if we see it slowly. Let's see if you'll see Chuck Daly reach over to shake Mike's hand. You see, there's Chuck. He shook Phil Jackson's hand.
So you know they interrupted the game. They had to stop the game while these dudes walked off.
Exactly.
So there's John.
My
John was like, I'm getting out of this peer pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan is his fraternity brother. He ain't gonna do that. Gonna do him like that. He fouled the shit out of him, granted, but he ain't like gonna not disrespect him like that, you know.
So now we just watched that. Let's watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did Kevin McHale treat the Pistons when they finally got over the hump?
That up, if you heard the interviews that they did, and the announcers even, they told the starters, Casey Jones pulled the starters out and sent them to the locker room early because the crowd was going to storm the court.
Yeah. Here we go.
That was a safety measure.
Kevin
McHale still down.
When we beat Boston, he said, "Don't be happy just to be there. You know, go and win it." I heard what he said. I listened and I understood.
Bill Lambier even coming
really
over
didn't
to him.
Understand until now that we're back in it again.
And then after that, Benny Johnson was standing at the free throw line on the other end, and he interrupted McHale as he was walking, and he dapped him up. That's in the full game that I have on here.
Mm-hmm. So McHale came back onto the court.
Well, that's when they were leaving.
I know, but McHale did like a beeline and came back out on the court and told Isaiah that.
No, because their bench was on that side. If you look at the angle where they were walking, like Boston's bench was over there. So they were walking over. What happened was Bill Lambier was in the game. He came sprinted over to offer some dap to Kevin McHale. But I thought y'all don't care about the handshakes, but you was looking for some respect from Kevin McHale right there. You know what I'm saying? So Bird was already in the locker room. Parrish was already gone. Casey Jones already sent him back there.
Excuse me, sir.
So
Michael Jordan has all the moves, you know. Excuse me, sir. Your slave isn't allowed in here. This car's for whites only.
But she's not my slave. She's my daughter.
Whatever she is to you, she doesn't belong here.
She belongs.
You know, Michael Jordan has.
Get this out of here. I'm trying to pull up. So let me find the other video here in question. Okay, we got that one. Hang on a second. I'm gonna mute myself for a second. You go ahead.
Yeah.
I need to find this other video.
Yeah, no problem. Let me see if I can see something on my side. Hang on one second. Keep going.
These pizzas are built different.
Oh, damn pizza.
Literally.
Okay, this is it. This is it.
No
The title kind of threw me off. I had it all
No
along.
problem. Pull it up.
All right, here we go.
Michael Jordan has all the moves, you know. Everybody concentrates on his great moves, but look at the simple things. Just a little easy pump fake, lines it up, gets himself square, and goes up in perfect form. That's what makes him the great player. It's not the flashy things. It's the little simple things that he does. It's his fundamental base combined with his skill base that makes him the greatest player to ever play.
And you say that without hesitation.
Without hesitation.
You weren't always convinced. There was a point maybe midway through his career where you wouldn't have given him that honor, but eventually he won you over, right?
Well, when you're playing against him, you know you're not going to say that because you got to come out and compete against him. But now sitting over here in the mic and being out of the game for 3 or 4 years and watching what he's done over the last couple of years, without question, this guy's the greatest that I've ever seen play. You know, people always ask me who was the best player. Was it Bird? Was it Magic? Was it Jordan? My response is always Jordan was the best, Magic was the smartest, and Bird was the toughest.
I have to ask you this question.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So what's going on here? Is it cognitive dissonance? Is it CTE?
Right.
I mean, what's going on, Zeke? Well, how all of a sudden, Michael went from the greatest player that you've ever seen to a guy that sells sneakers and jerseys?
Sweatsuits.
Make it make sense, Zeke. Come on, Zeke.
Oh. San Francisco just opened almost with a touchdown.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so somebody said something crazy yesterday in one of the other groups, and I had actually pulled up stats. They had a something in there that said, the Bulls. It was regarding the '95, I guess semifinals or whatever when the Bulls played the Magic.
And
they said, Michael Jordan, after going up 2-0 on the Magic, they got swept, and Jordan only scored 1 or 2 points in the fourth quarter in each game, or some crazy stuff. So I went and pulled the status, and first right off the riff, the first 2 games the Bulls and Magic split.
In 1995, yes.
Yeah. Then the third game the Magic won. Then the fourth game the Bulls won. So they were tied 2-2, and then the Magic won the next 2 games to end the series in 6. So this idea that they got swept is ridiculous.
Right.
Then I pulled up MJ's stats for the games. Man, it was off the charts as usual. Even Rusty MJ was putting up 39, 40 points. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So the revisionism and the haterade on MJ, man, is amazing. And
But the thing is,
everybody likes who they like. You like LeBron.
It's not a shade on that.
Yeah.
It's just that Isiah.
Well, let me land on this. You like who you like, but what I don't understand when I talk about MJ, and if I'm discussing someone about man, what I saw when I saw MJ, LeBron doesn't even come up in the conversation. No other player comes up in the conversation. What am I saying? I don't need to urinate on any other player to Jordan's legacy. His legacy speaks for itself. I don't have to crap on other players.
Right.
But it seems for whatever reason, every time they got something to say, they always have to crap on Jordan. Then
to uplift, right?
Then they praise LeBron, but they crap on Jordan. I'm like, you guys you got MJ in your head, man. You know, this whole GOAT debate, you know, I never bought into it for one, because I measure a player by skill set. I measure a player by drive, and you know, LeBron is a talent. I mean, he's old now, but when he was in his prime, he was a phenomenal talent. But he was never on MJ's level, skill set wise. MJ had no holes in his game. You cannot say that about LeBron.
Unfortunately, like with LeBron, I would say.
Well, let me land on this. Well, I was going to say what ended the debate for me. That I, even though I never entertained the debate, but what ended it was the 2011 NBA Finals. Go ahead.
I think that if LeBron would have got it out the mud, like in Cleveland, like when they bring up, he got swept by the Spurs. He got there. The way he did that I don't even hold that against LeBron.
I don't either, because he was young. He was young. Yeah.
He was young, and what he did was what he did to that Pistons team the year round prior to that was unbelievable. I mean, he scored 48 points, and practically all but 1 point was scored by him. In the fourth quarter. That was an amazing performance. I wish that his first ring didn't come in Miami. If it came in Cleveland, then you can have a different conversation, I think, about his legacy. That, he got it out the mud, that he did it. But when he chose to go to South Beach and pair up with two guys and click up with two guys that were in their prime, that separated the conversation. Before you even get to 2011, that the decision won. That separated the conversation right then and there. Personally, I stopped having the conversation at that point. When you clicked up with D Wade. D Wade is the third greatest shooting guard in NBA history. Right? LeBron is arguably the best, but no less than 2 or 3, of small forwards. Bosh was there. He's probably in the top 20 of power forwards, but he's still a Hall of Famer. So then you got LeBron with AD. Then you have now with Luka. I mean, so the thing about it is, LeBron he did the heavy lifting before on his rise, but he hasn't done the heavy lifting and winning. Yes, there were times where he carried Miami scoring-wise, but it's easy to do when you have Wade County right there as your safety net, who can take over at any time.
Off the top of your head, when was Scotty's first invite to the All-Star?
In 1990. Scotty made the All-Star game first. But if you notice, that was his first year as an All-Star in Miami. He participated in the dunk contest that year, dunk contest and three-point contest, if I'm not mistaken. But in 1991, go back to the Bad Boys documentary, Mark Aguirre's words. He said, Michael Jordan, we knew what he's going to do. He's the best player on the planet. But that 1991 series, his words, Mark Aguirre, Scotty grew up.
Finally.
What he said. Now, the interesting thing about that is 1991, Scotty didn't even make the All-Star team. A lot of people don't know that. They assume that he did, but he did not. Old, revitalized Bernard King made the All-Star team. His knees was shot. And there's a game against the Bullets, the old Washington Bullets, where Bernard was still giving work. Knees was shot to hell, but he was still cooking. So Scotty did hit his heyday to me between 1992 and 1998. In that realm, that's where he hit it. The best of those years right there was the season in 1994, where he led in something like 5-6 statistical categories, led the team, in. And the Bulls wasn't expected to do good, but They actually did good. And here's the kicker for those with bias. And so you're the selection bias and statistical bias. So oftentimes you'll hear they say, well, how great was Michael Jordan? Because the first year after he retired, the Bulls like only lost two more games than they did the last season. Think about it this way: have you ever in academia? You probably had a physics teacher like I did, or a chemistry teacher like I did, who had a penchant for like grading on a curve, or said like they have make a deal with the students like, okay, do good on all your tests or what have you. I'll drop the lowest test score. It won't even factor into your final grade, right? So here we're comparing Mike's efficiency to when he like with his greatness when he retired in 1993 to the Bulls they left behind only finishing 2 games off pace of the worst or the lowest win total of any of Jordan's title teams. It's like you're comparing like if I took like 6 tests in chemistry or whatever, and my lowest score was 75 or 75%. You may take a guy off the street who like may take a chemistry test and say, well, I scored a 73%. Does that mean that he's a chemistry expert? No, motherfucker, you ain't no expert.
No. So the argument you making right now, I want to call Chris Ray right now, get him on this panel and make him explain himself, because that's the argument he be making.
Because that statistical argument does not make sense. It does not make sense because you're using the lowest win total, the worst win total of any of the 6 title wing teams, and comparing that the 94 season against that. And then you're going to evaluate Mike's greatness. And here's another kicker. So the thing is, with every statistical analysis, like whether it be bell curve or otherwise, you don't look at a point in time. You don't look at just the chronos. You look at the whole thing. You look at the pattern, right? Or a kairos is a point in time. You look at chronos. You look at overtime, right? So the best evaluation is the Bulls' average win total in the first three-peat was like 61.6 wins, and rounded up to 62. The average win total in the Bulls' second three-peat was 68 wins. So if you juxtapose that 1994 win total of 55 wins to the statistical mean, the average of the three-peat 91, 92, 93 win totals, the average being 62, that's a 8-game drop-off. You see, against the average. You understand? That's what's being fair statistically, right? You compare it to the average instead of a point in time. Like, you know how, like, when folks have, I mean, like, I'll lose my Magic Shave endorsement, but I use this as an example. Okay. So when you're growing in a beard, before it looks fly, it has that ugly phase, don't it? Right? Where it's a little like, damn, I look kind of whack. But when it grow in nice and full, it looks good. But so am I going to evaluate your beard game based on that one snapshot in time where that ugly face? You know what I'm saying?
Why you growing it? Right.
Why are you growing it? Right. So you want to take like a team that Jordan and them, they're on a decline, right? They went 61 wins in 91, 67 wins in 92. They drop off to 57 wins in 93. But people don't remember the book came out, the Jordan rules. They don't remember that. They talk about being tired, right? Oh, the visual. Mike just went to Barcelona the summer before. How come he don't get to use that as an excuse? Mike and Scotty were over there. They're tired. Then there was grumblings and resentment. Horace Grant spoke on this in the Last Dance documentary. Like, well, fuck, I'm out here practicing. Like, how come these dudes ain't practicing? Okay, they went to Barcelona. Barcelona over. We got practice time. Be out here. They sitting over on the side. So Horace Grant felt a certain kind of way about that. So
well, you know, Stacey talked.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Stacey King talked about that recently with what's his name, Randy Brown.
Randy Brown, I seen that. Yep.
And then Stacey said, "Hey, you know, we have long, grueling seasons from October to June, And
Right.
Phil knew how to manage that. He said Phil wasn't, like Tibbs. Phil wasn't gonna have
Right.
the starters out there practicing, 2 hours the next day after they done played, 30, 40
Yeah.
minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he said if the starters put in 35, 40 minutes, they didn't practice the next day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Everybody else, he said, who didn't put in those minutes had to be at practice.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it makes sense. I mean, how else are you going to manage your team, the stress factor on your team's health
Right.
if you don't manage it in some kind of capacity? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what Scotty said. And then to the '94 team, people talk like, oh man, the Bulls were just a great team, man. Look what they did in '94 without MJ. Yeah, they were a good team. They were a well coached team.
They're well coached. Yeah.
They were well. I keep
Well coached.
emphasizing this, and people don't. They knew all the role players knew their place. They knew what
Mm-hmm.
they were supposed to do, so they were well coached. I said you cannot name one star on that team,
Right.
save for maybe Scotty. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? And I said, then y'all act like they went to the championship. They got knocked
Mm-hmm.
out in the semifinals. They didn't even go to the Eastern Conference.
It's a questionable call. We know.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but the point
Mm-hmm.
is that they could have,
Yeah.
maybe. But even if they got past the Knicks, does that mean they get past the Pacers? Or
Not
who was in the
necessarily.
who's in the conference?
Oh, well, Pacers was in the Eastern Conference Finals that
Yeah.
year with the Knicks. You
Yeah.
see,
So if they knock off the Knicks, does that mean they get past the Pacers?
not necessarily all.
If
I
they
mean, we
get
don't. I
right,
mean, I could say, yeah. They probably would have leveled up, and did it. And then Houston was waiting on to holler at them in '94 finals.
that's my
So,
point. What was the missing ingredient for the Bulls to lose
mhm.
it to the Knicks?
All right, it was Jordan. See,
Thank you,
hmm
thank you.
and,
If they
and when we talk about dominance, see the dominance that Isaiah is malapropping to say that he did. Okay, if you beat a team that's been steadily improving with each successive season that you've seen them, you faced them in '88, their first taste of the second round. You beat them in 5. In '89, they were the only team to beat you in the entire postseason. And where the Pistons didn't allow 100 points in the entire postseason. And then that's probably the greatest teams defensively from a statistical standpoint ever. Then you had 1990, where like, okay, the Pistons are like, okay, well, we tired of y'all, but y'all growing. They knew the Bulls were coming and forced them to the limit in Game 7 in 1990. Then 1991, it's like we shift the home court advantage back to us, and then that was all she wrote. That was all she wrote. It was a wrap, particularly in Game 7.
Those guys were flying on high confidence, and like Aguirre said,
Scottie Pippen grew up.
Pip grew up, and
Mhm.
he finally got on the hub. He no more migraines and getting punked, and all that other stuff.
And then the
But
Jordan.
here's the other thing too. See, Zeke is leaving out a lot of context as far as the Pistons' rise to power.
Mhm.
So the Celtics slapped. They always say, "Oh man, the Bulls were getting slapped around by the Celtics." Yeah, well, guess what? So were the Pistons. The Pistons
Yeah.
were the Celtics were slapping everybody in the Eastern.
But here's what comes.
The Pistons did not beat the Celtics until '88, and they finally got to the championship. And then what happened? They got slapped by the Lakers.
Now, when the Pistons beat those Celtics finally, they won 53 games. When Jordan played the Celtics, let's take the first 3 seasons. The first playoff berth was against Milwaukee, his rookie year. Milwaukee won 59 games. In year 2, in '86, that Celtics team won 67 games. Year 3 in '87, that Celtics team won 59 games. So the average win total, averages again, people don't want to do that, was 63, 64 wins, somewhere thereabouts. Michael's average win total of those 3 teams was something like, 36 wins? So again, look at the ask. You're asking a 36-win team on average to beat teams who average 63 wins. That math don't even hunt. Then, furthermore, we talk about how Jordan. Well, we don't talk about, but the detractors say, well, he won during the watered down era. Okay, I'll give you an era that nobody talks about that was watered down. Nobody talks about the buy system that the NBA actually had at one point. You see? So if you go back to the 84 season, that was the first year where, the last year, I should say, where there was a buy, a first round buy. If you go look at Basketball Reference. There was no quarterfinals series in 84. The NBA added a quarterfinal series in 85 to be in direct parallel with guess who? Who they introducing as a new kid on the block at that point? They wasn't going to make no money with Michael sitting home. They introduced the quarterfinal round in 85. If it wasn't for that, the Bulls wouldn't even seen Milwaukee in the playoffs. That's the only reason why Bulls made the playoffs that year, because they expanded a quarterfinal round, which includes a first seed going against an eighth seed. And typically those games, those series ended in sweeps or 4-game sweeps back when that first round series was only 5 games. We didn't start seeing upsets until Denver and Seattle, 10 years later, right? Or the Knicks and Miami, Allen Houston's floater that bounced off the rim and goes in. Then it wasn't until 2003 when the first round quarterfinal series extended to 7 games. And we had it for 7 games ever since then.
Yeah. Well, so Lakers fans, they like to get in. Some old school Lakers fans like to get on this. Y'all need to be careful with this watered down league stuff, because I keep telling y'all, and I'm keep telling y'all to chill out with this, because I like the 80s, but the Lakers had next to no competition in the West.
Particularly 1987.
They had hardly any competition in the West. You had a team once in a while show up. You had the Rockets show up.
It gets worse. Well, I tell you this, the Rockets team that the Lakers lost to in 1981 was a below 500 team. They were 40 and 42.
Well, I was speaking of Dream. I was speaking of the Twin Towers. Yeah, I was speaking of the Twin Towers.
Well, 86. They were above 500. They were 51 and 31.
Yeah.
In 86. But that was a huge upset. The Lakers won 62 games. They finished 11 games better than them. But in 87, the Lakers had the best season at 65 and 17. They had the best record in the league. Here's their opponents. Denver Nuggets, who won 37 games. The Golden State Warriors, who upset the Utah Jazz that year, won 40 games. The Seattle Supersonics, who were the Cinderella that year, they won 39 games. When in the hell are you going to have a conference final opponent as the best team in the league when you playing the first 2 of the first 3 rounds you played were against teams that were sub 40-win teams? The Lakers in 87 didn't see a 50-win team until the finals. And that's what Boston came in at 59-23. They were on easy street. But you want to shadow box the 1996 Bulls.
Right.
Well, 1996 Bulls, when they played Miami in the first round, I think that Miami team was either at 500 or slightly above 500. The Bulls didn't play no 39-win teams or 37-win teams.
And you know what else? They act like the Knicks, the Pacers, the Heat, the Magic. They act like those teams were bums or something.
Mm-hmm. They were built differently. So here's the thing. When Jordan, anytime you had a dominating presence in the league, we go back to Magic. Let's still go back to 1980. When Magic came in, 6'9" point guard. The traditional point guard is about 6'1", 6 feet, 6'2". Defensively, that's a nightmare matchup. This ain't gonna hunt. So what happened? It started with Magic at 6'9", because we like to compare. Well, would nobody Jordan size when he was a 2 guard? Fuck, Magic was 6'9", 220.
How many 2 guards were not 6'6" or 6'5"? I mean, there was
there were two guards and small forwards who weren't Magic size.
Right.
Right. So like the thing is, so then what happens? It comes in the cross match. So you start seeing two guards match up with Magic and cross matching to make things even. This is why when the Pistons played the Lakers in '88, this is why Chuck Daly used Rodman, to spell Joe Dumars and guarding Magic. He didn't leave Isaiah on no island guarding Magic. I mean, Joe Dumars, like thick in size. They listened at 185, but he looked like he bore like 215, 220, lower center of gravity. But that was the art of the cross match. So if you were a good wing defender, you could make a living because they would use you to guard Magic. Or if you were a good two-guard defender, you can make a good living because you were going to be paid to slow down Mike, or at least like make him shoot a low percentage. When Shaq started dominating, tearing rims down and everything, if you were 6'9", 250, and you could bench 300, you pulled down 100 mil back in the day. You could pull down a nice little living back in the day. So like Dale Davis would probably be in a G League if he played today. Back then, because of the necessity to guard the Shaqs, the Lonzos, those big, strong, muscle-bound dudes. Okay, if you didn't have to have offensive skill, you just had to throw up 300, dog, and be 250. You got 6 fouls that I can use against Shaq. So those monumental players necessitate like the counterbalance of how your teams are constructed in order to defend them. Like when AI was going off against the Lakers in game 1 of the finals, Ty Lue doesn't have the same game as AI, but what did he have that matched AI? Speed. So Phil Jackson inserted him to utilize his speed to match AI because Derek Fisher was slow-footed by comparison. And then they would cross-match it and show him different looks. Maybe Kobe would get on him, whatnot. But Kobe had to stay out of foul trouble. But putting Ty Lue in there got AI frustrated, remember? So much so where he hit that little snatchback, baseline jumper, and the step over. That was all built up in the competition. But anytime you have those players that come in, these generational kind of players, the way your teams are constructed is going to change because you're going to need to defend those players, number one, and also the way players train. The way players train based on those generational talents. So if Scotty didn't evolve in the way he did, Grant Hill couldn't have taken that to the next level. Grant Hill, skill-wise, is better than Scotty skill-wise. And numbers-wise, he proved it. But he had a model to look at. Scotty ran the point, engineered the offense, and things like that. Then goes to Grant Hill. Now you got LeBron coming in, doing the same thing. But LeBron took it to the next level. I just hate that he ended his career prematurely in Cleveland and went to Miami, but that's another conversation. I'll land there.
Yeah. So that's good intel. One other argument that they make. See, let's hit them all. One other argument that detractors like to make. See, Scotty had to guard all the players for Jordan because Jordan, even though Jordan got Defensive Player of the Year and was always in the top 5 in defense, so they go.
I just know Scotty way primarily shut down Isaiah.
Scotty had to defend Magic Johnson. Well, guess what?
I saw a video on that where Michael was still defending Magic Johnson in games 3 and 4.
I agree to say. I hate that because I didn't think about it. I got a post-game interview from the finals. After they won. They asked Scotty about guarding Magic. Scotty said Phil wanted MJ to guard Magic the most, and he did.
Right. I remember that. Yes.
Scotty said I just guarded him maybe, half a game or whatever.
And then you look at game 3 of that final series, Scotty was in foul trouble. He fouled out that game. and Michael played all but 2 minutes that game.
Yeah.
And when
So
Scotty fouled out, he fouled out on that play where Vlade blew the kiss at Magic. And that was the play that Scotty fouled out on. He tried to take a charge on Vlade.
Yeah.
You see?
So Scotty confirmed that what we had been saying, that MJ guarded 90% of defense on the Magic was by MJ. But Phil was looking to get MJ some breathers because he didn't want MJ worn out on both ends of the floor where he was going to be ineffective offensively. That's basically what Phil's strategy was. And since we were talking about the 80s, I gotta give a shout out to Bird and Dominique, man. That was it the 86?
88 when they went on their duel. That was 88.
Bro, yeah, that was 88. Yeah, that was 88. Bro, that's one of the best games ever, man.
And I would say, for the record, I think the greatest player in the 80s is not you, Isiah. I say the greatest player in the 80s, I would say, is Larry Bird. And I say that because those MVP rankings that I mentioned, okay, Bird was four.
Before you go any further, what possessed Isiah to do a AI?
He did ChatGPT.
What possessed him to do an AI deep dive on himself as far as being a top player? Why? What would you do? I mean,
and that's my problem with ChatGPT.
That's like patting yourself on the back. What are you doing?
The inputs can still be biased. A lot of people don't understand that. You see,
I'm trying to figure out what was his motivation for doing that. Whoever said that Zeke was not. I mean, anytime you hear anybody talk, they always put Zeke second to Magic as far as the greatest point guard of all time.
Yeah, but he ain't
I'm trying to figure out what possessed Zeke to go and do this ChatGPT. What was he feeling or thinking? Or is he like nobody praises me? Is that what he's doing? I don't understand what was the motivation.
And they were getting at him when he did the interview. They was getting at him like that. So then he followed that up, double down with the FanDuel interview. But I was, like I said, Larry Bird in my eyes, he's the greatest player in the 80s, and I say that for these reasons. First, the MVPs. So his rookie year, he was fourth in MVP voting. Magic didn't even rank. He wasn't even in the top 10, no place, nowhere. If you look up the 1980 MVP voting, he wasn't even there. Bird was fourth. Then the second year, third year, fourth year, Bird would finish second in MVP voting. The next 3 years was his three-peat MVP awards. Then followed by, 87, he finished third. 88, he finished second to Mike. You see? So Bird was always in the mix for top 2, 3, only fourth once. He was only fourth one time in his first 8, 9 years. He only finished below the third once. And then the small forward position. You never had a night off at the small forward position. Bernard King, Dominique, Doc was still giving the business even when he had the mini fro. You know what I'm saying? Big Mark Aguirre when he came on the scene. Marcus Johnson was another. I know I'm missing several people. Big Game James, of course. Jamal Silk. He was doing work still. So like the names that Bird had to see night after night, it's insane. And this dude not only dominated the position, he dominated the league. Oh, then I forgot Alex English. And here's the thing about Alex English. Alex English led the entire 80s decade in most points scored. And here you have Larry Joe Bird. That's the golden age of the 80s, position-wise, was the small forward position.
Yeah, you had Adrian. Did you mention Adrian Dantley and
AD too? I forgot him.
Yeah, and then you had who was on Cleveland? Was it Hot Rod Williams and who was on Cleveland?
I was a big fella, but Um, as a small forward,
Yeah.
well, Harper was a two guard. That wasn't him. It was before him. I can't think of nobody off the top of my head.
I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Larry Bird didn't only just dominate the position; he dominated the league. So that's why when I see discussions where who's better between Bird and Magic, Magic had better teams, but Bird did the heavy lifting. You know, Magic had a center who was arguably the greatest center to ever live. You know, then you had Silk, then you had McAdoo, who was a three-time scoring champion. I think he won an MVP too, if I'm not mistaken. Then you had Silk, then you had Coop, who was a defensive player of the year. So Magic had weapons around him. You see, Spencer Haywood was another guy. Bird had the greatest single season turnaround in NBA history when he first hit the scene, 33 wins. And so that can't be shadow boxed in any way, in a shape or form. So Bird ruled the 80s individually. Did you find them?
Yeah, their shooting fours were. So
they didn't have nobody noteworthy at that three spot that I can think of.
Yeah, they had fours and twos, pretty much fours and twos. Then you have Mark Price at the and Mark Price at the point, and
yeah, Larry Nance. They played Larry Nance at the three at times, but Larry Nance really, in all actuality, was a four.
Yeah.
When he was at Phoenix, Walter Davis was a two guard, Silky's jump shot, but he did spots at the 3-2, but he was primarily a two guard. I forgot about Kiki Vandeweghe. I mean, he had another torch.
Did you forget about Bernard King?
I mentioned Bernard. He was the first name I mentioned.
My bad.
And Tom Chambers was another sleeper too. But he is like a combo small forward, power forward.
I think Chambers was a power forward / center, wasn't he?
No, on the Seattle teams, he was a 3/4.
Okay.
And so, then when they drafted X-Man actually came in the league averaging 17.
Okay.
He came first year in the rookie season out of Wichita State.
So if we move into the West, then you got Gervin. Who else?
I look at him as a two guard, but he probably was a small forward. He's 6'8". He's 6'8". I think, I don't know when Alvin Robertson got there, if they even played together while he was in San Antonio. I don't think so. And then they had a cat, Johnny Davis. And then, of course, A-Train was down there, Artis Gilmore. I got to look at those Spurs squad more carefully, particularly that 81 squad that lost to Houston in the semis before Houston went on to the finals.
Yeah, 6'7".
Yeah.
Right. Small forward, yeah. He played both forward and guard.
He's like 6. Yeah. I don't know. They listen to 6'7", but he looked like more like 6'8" to me. I seen a picture with him.
He was just long with them long fingers.
Arms. Like he was standing next to Mike, and he towered over Mike. So yeah. So but Gervin was that dude too.
And then Bird had to deal with Doc too.
Right. I mentioned Doc. I said the mini pro version of Doc.
The little
he put the 3 guard on there with adjustable level down. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then I forgot Doc's teammate, the defenseman, Bobby Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer too.
Yeah.
So Bird had to see bodies in front of him, but Bird still stood tall over all of them. Kelly Tripucka was no slouch, either. He had a torch on him.
So I was just raking my brain going through Portland. I don't know who Portland had. I don't know who Seattle had any shooting forwards at the time.
Not really. Just Clyde didn't get Portland to 83, and Jerome Kersey, I think, was like a couple of years at that. Rest in peace, Jerome. After that, but Portland did have Kiki Vandeweghe. They got him from Denver. I think like 85, 80. I think 86. Because Kiki was on the 85 squad that lost the 85 Denver squad that lost to the Lakers in the conference finals.
Okay. What about the Warriors? Who did they have during that time period?
I forgot about Mully. Shit. But Mully came in '84, but I mean, but Bird had to see him a couple of
Had to
times.
see Mullins,
You know.
yeah. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, that left-handed torch.
Yeah. Yep, yep,
Yeah, yeah, Mully was that dude.
yep. Yeah. So I mean, you're right. Bird had to contend with some shoe fall, but people don't. I don't know if people know this. Bird's six. You know, I don't know if he still is, but
6'10", basically. I
6'10".
seen a
Yeah,
picture. Seen a picture of
yeah,
him and Magic. And he was taller than Magic.
yeah, yeah. So
hmm
that gave him an advantage as far as shooting and everything, man.
hmm
Yeah, being able to shoot over guys and play the way he played, and I think uh, Bird is is a testament to this. But you know, we talk about Michael with his intensity. You know, Bird didn't have the athleticism, but it was that
Right.
it was that skill set and that attitude
That's so
that put him over the
separated.
top. Yeah, that
Yeah,
put him over the top.
and I do hate that it's unfortunate that we is without Len Bias too. You know, who would have been a great player. You know, he would have had a lot of company to contend with in battles. He could a combo three power forward. It's very rare you have that kind of combination of skill. A small forward and power forward is very rare. I mean, you have guys like James Worthy, like small forwards with post up game. You know, what I mean, Scotty when he came of age. So I've always been partial to small forwards with a back to the basket post up game, and those two were 1 and 2 to me. I mean, they had the
You think Len Bias probably could have extended Bird's career because Bird wouldn't have had to do as
well,
much.
Bird
Yeah.
himself said he would have retired in '88, but
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, if Bias had lived, you
Okay.
know, but because he said '88 he was done, he'd only hung on because he had passed, you know. But I think Len Bias and Reggie Lewis
Yeah.
were bridge from the big three, and
They were the
that
future of the Celtics. Yeah.
and they probably would have ended up playing with my high school teammate Antoine and Paul. You know, they probably could because Red Auerbach was pretty shrewd with his drafting and team construction. It wouldn't have shocked me if they were able to pull off something where they probably would have still been able to draft Twan and Paul, and while Bias and Reggie were still like in the twilight of their careers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's an interesting take. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because and the proof is not like I'm saying this out of thin air. Shit, look what he did to Golden State. I mean, he drafted Mikhail. I think I forget which one. He drafted Joe Barry Carroll first, and then drafted Mikhail, and he turned around and flipped Joe Barry Carroll to Golden State to get the rights to draft Parrish, something like that. You know, but he pulled off a coup. Shit. Did you mute? You went muted.
pulling up something. I didn't want the video to play.
Okay.
A second.
I got a few more minutes. I got to get going. I got to get
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
together. Yeah.
yeah. We'll end it here soon. Give me a second here. So we know we talked about you know Bird's team and you know Mikhail. Mikhail was a bad boy. I like Mikhail from the Riff, man.
Yeah.
You but people don't what people don't know
hmm
is Robert Parrish was a bad boy too, man. I mean, he didn't
Yeah.
get he
Probably
won.
top 15 center, you know, all time.
Yeah. Uh, let me get something here. Let's see. Oh, that's what 1992. No, man, I'm trying to get Paris highlights. What are they doing, man?
You looking for Chiefs highlights?
Yeah, hang on. I want people to see how centers got down in the '90s because a lot of these young folk don't know, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I saw
All
what he was
this,
getting. He
all
was still
this.
giving head and shoulder fakes to Shaq, to young Shaq. So like Parrish seen the gamut. He played against one of you guys played against Kareem, and then later played against Shaq.
Yeah, centers weren't out there shooting 3-pointers. I can tell you that now. Give me that.
Yeah, that was the '84 finals right there.
Whoop. Give me that.
And fair use, by the way, in case you didn't mention.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Whoop.
Mm-hmm.
Bop.
So that's who Mike was supposed to be. Who Mike was supposed to be. Well, he got swept by Boston. Well, shit, of course.
I mean, how many Hall of Famers? Dennis Johnson,
Bill Walton,
Parrish, McHale, Bird.
Yeah. And a Hall of Fame coach.
I mean, he won. He scored 63 points, and that still wasn't enough.
Right. And then had the guy who won 3 straight MVPs call him God.
Right.
He's God disguised as Michael Jordan.
Hold up. I just saw one with McHale dunked on somebody, and hang on. I'm gonna stop sharing this one real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And pull that up, then we can end. Let's see, Robert Parrish. Oh, ooh, they were going at it. I didn't remember this. They got Shaq. They got him battling Shaq, and they got him battling Hakeem. Which one do you want to see?
Oh, either one. The Hakeem one was '86, obviously.
No, this is '92.
Oh, '92. Yeah, okay. Wasn't. Uh-oh, Saquon just got loose.
Let's see. Put this one on.
So if Philly wins this game, they go to Chicago. If San Francisco wins, they go to the Seattle, and the Rams come to Chicago. For those of you keeping score.
Hey man, all I know is Carolina disappointed me last night.
I didn't see the game.
Yeah, they let the Rams pull that one out, man.
Oh, you thought that game. I thought it sounded like I don't know why I thought Tar Heels. But
no, I'm talking about the Panthers.
Yeah, I was watching that game while I was out running errands.
Yeah, I was like, oh man. So if y'all get the Rams, you know I'm gonna boo. I'm gonna cheer against the Rams no matter what. So as long as Stan Kroenke owns a team, I'm gonna cheer against them.
Well, I'm in enemy territory at that point. Yeah. At that point, but if Philly wins, we're gonna play Philly, and the Rams got to go play to Seattle.
Yeah. So as you can see, Centers had a little mid-range game. They can shoot the little 10, 15 footers. You see Parrish out there shooting that little 10-foot rainbow. Watch this.
The turnaround. Oh, that was '91. Yeah, Dream had goggles. That would have been a travel almost.
Splash.
Right there.
Splash. Watch the Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the Dream in '95, oh my God, man, that was
it was insane.
94 and 95 was just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you knew Dream was gonna be the win.
Man. I remember, man, as a teen, I would go out and practice Magic's passes, man. I would see Magic. I was never a Lakers fan, but I like Magic. So Magic would do something on TV because the Lakers always was on TV.
Yes, it was.
I would go out and practice it, man, and then I do it in the game. I do it whenever we play the game, doing the blacktop. I told this.
Magic.
I told the story before.
This has the clean shaven, the Magic with the goatee and the uneven hairline. That's the Magic that was dangerous.
I told this story before. I didn't really learn how to shoot until I was an adult, but I knew how to dribble. I know how to dribble and pass when I was a kid, when I was a teen. You know what I'm saying? And later on, like in my mid to late 20s, that's when I really learned how to shoot. And but coming up in high school. Grade school and high school, I played football, baseball, and and today now I still love all 3 sports. I love hockey too because we have the Blues, I never really played hockey, but I watched them when they got in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
I
support the
know
home team. Yeah.
you being from Chicago, you know, I know you do the same thing. You still keep up with the Blackhawks,
Original fix.
the Cubs, you know, and the Sox and
Yeah, Sox was trash,
Bills.
unfortunately. They got
But
yeah, that
me,
disappointed the South Side of the team, but
yeah,
shit.
for me, it's the Cardinals, the Blues, and I was a Rams fan when the Rams was in St. Louis when they left. I've been a Steelers fan since I was a kid. You know Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer, Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert. You know, I mean I can go on and on, but the Immaculate Conception,
Swan.
the Immaculate Reception, excuse me.
Yeah, Lynn Swan.
Lynn Swan. That's right, Lynn Swan, my boy. Well, I forgot my other partner because they were the dynamic duo. You had Swan and I can't remember his name right now. Starworth. Yeah, Swan and Starworth. Yeah, bad boys, man. You know, and I was talking about this the other day in one of the groups. What could have been different from Dan Marino if he was on a different team? And I didn't know Dan Marino was from Pittsburgh and played with the Pittsburgh Panthers.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and I was like, man, if he could have forced his way to Pittsburgh, dude, we'd have got it. It'd have been good for him and us. Because Marino, to me, is one of the
Pittsburgh in the 80s wasn't that great, though. Because you think he came in 83, and Pittsburgh at that time had a cat named Bubby Brister as their quarterback. So, I mean, like, who knows, like, how their fortunes would turn out. Marino probably would have, did some work, I'm sure.
I meant, like, in the late 80s when Marino was still struggling with the Dolphins and,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the
Steelers didn't really get their footing back until the 90s, to like the mid 90s.
Yeah.
Yep.
But with a good quarterback, you can start building your team. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, but that being said, he had two good receivers in Miami. I don't know. I don't remember what his running game was like.
Mark Duper and
then Hassan said the defense was soft as.
that was
soft as riding bananas. So.
But Marino picked our 46 defense apart, so respect to him. So, he on Monday Night Football for the world to see. We was that close from getting a rematch with them in '86 in the Super Bowl.
One other team we got to give a shout out to. They don't get enough respect, in my opinion, is the Buffalo Bills. Man, you don't go to 4 Super Bowls.
Jacksonville on the road.
Yeah, you don't go to 4 Super Bowls and not be a great team.
Yeah, and they just beat Jacksonville earlier.
And the ball bounces one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? They could have got one of those chips. Huh?
They probably Buffalo would have won a Super Bowl any other year, but they kept running into juggernauts. They ran to Lawrence Taylor's Giants.
Well, you remember the Giants won that on a field goal.
Well, on a missed field goal by Scott Norwood.
Yeah.
And so then they won it on that. And then they ran to Washington at the 90s. They had what they call the Hogs up front. The front line was just insane. And then 93, they ran twice into Dallas and just couldn't get through the door. So the Buffalo Bills just kept running into like juggernauts. Yeah. And all three of those teams that they lost to won multiple Super Bowls in that era, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. Which is hard to do. It's hard to win multiple Super Bowls.
Point I was making is the Bills were a great team. Great players. Jim Kelly. What was the running back name? I forget.
Thurman Thomas.
Thomas.
They had everything. They had Don Beebe.
Yeah, the coach was great.
He was their coach. He's still like 105 years old. Don Beebe was a receiver. James Lawson.
Marv still kicking, live and kicking.
Yeah, the James Lawson was the receiver, or the other receiver. The defensive, they had Bruce Smith. They had Cornelius Bennett. They had Nate Odoms in the secondary. So they had a squad. They had everything built to win it. It just didn't go their way. And that's the way it is in football. It's very unforgiving.
Yeah, it's a bounce here and there, and You know, like we were talking about that field goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I hope Scott Norwood is living his best life though, nonetheless, because a lot of athletes that get that close to a pinnacle like that, and then their lives are never the same. Like think
Yeah.
of the Angels, Donnie Moore. When on the last strike, they gave up that 3-run homer to Dave Henderson in the '86 ALCS,
Or the
and
Red
then he
Sox.
ended up
Or
into
the
the
Red
Red
Sox,
Sox.
Red Sox and Mets when the ball went through what's his name playing
No,
first
it
base?
would have
What
been
was
the
his name?
Angels and the Mets.
No,
So
Red Sox and Mets.
the Red Sox, and that's what ended up happening. But I'm
Yeah.
saying the California Angels, where Reggie Jackson still fighting Father Time, they came within one strike of playing in the World Series against the Mets.
Okay.
But Donnie Moore gave up the home run to Dave Henderson, and then 3 years later he ended up committing suicide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's that part of sports. You just got mental health. The mental health component is key in any type of team composition within the organization.
Yeah, when you
Because
fell on the biggest stage, it's kind of like
it's
it's
heartbreaking,
out
man.
there. It's hard, but you have to be mentally tough enough to come back and do it again.
Like the closer from the Phillies who botched a force out at home at Dodger Stadium, and he tried to go turn a double play or something like that. He botched it, and they ended up losing the ALCS.
Yeah, I tell you who should still be stressed out to this day. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Don Dinginger should still be stressed out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if they know who Don Dinginger is. He's an umpire that gave Kansas City basically helped.
Kansas 85.
Yeah, Kansas City Royals gave him that horrible call.
You would know that because
Yeah.
you guys did get hosed in '85.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had to land it there, brother, because I got clothes packed in over here. I got to take off for Denver tomorrow morning. So
all
I'll
right.
be up there. So Rocky Mountain High. So I got to do my thing. Yep. So it's great to rap. And hopefully, feel free to use this free game. Isiah Thomas, we still got love and respect for you. Like I said, you still the best NBA performance I still ever did see was Game 6 of '88. I still concede that because you balled out, sir. But I had to point out, the correct context and some things that you left out that gave a dishonest take. So hopefully you can receive that, and we land the plane there.
All right. Take it easy.
All right, take it easy, guys. All right, peace.